So next up, we've got a lifter who's asking for a technical review for his squat. Basically, he's been having trouble getting his squat to progress over the last several months. It's been stuck for kind of a while. So short of transitioning over to a new training group, we wanted to take a look at his squat and see if we can see any weaknesses and make some changes to the programming to get things moving again. So I can tell you one thing that I'm seeing here is as you drive out of the bottom, you've got a little bit of the chest fall pattern that I see so often. So let's look here. So here you're in the mid-range, but you'll see what happens if we contrast that to your bottom position. You'll see that your knees have drifted back and your butt has drifted up and your chest hasn't gone up in proportion. So your back angle has flattened out. So let's take a look at that bottom position. So you can see here, this is a nice strong bottom position, but if I play the video from here, you'll see that your back angle is going to increase and it turns into a tiny bit of a good morning squat. And I don't want to paint the picture like your squatting is inefficient or bad or anything like that. These are small technical deviations that a lot of people have, and this one is the most common one to see with the squat. And the reason is because it stems from weaknesses that are just almost inherent to the movement if you're doing it correctly. So what I would say is let's make sure that we're focusing on productive things when it comes to your assistance movements. Let's make sure that we're focusing on pin squats, high bar squats, which it looks like your squat's fairly high bar anyway, which could be a contributing factor to that. But pin squats, high bar squats, and if you have access to a safety bar, that's also a good assistance movement for you as well. Front squats could potentially be an assistance movement for you if you're fairly skilled at that movement, but most powerlifters are not, so it tends to be a supplemental movement. With that said, I think front squats would be beneficial for you as a supplemental movement. Also keep in mind other direct quad work, leg presses, hack squats, single leg work, Bulgarian split squats and lunges, things like that. So the supplemental movements need to be focused on quad development. Your assistance movements need to be focused on that chest up position, making sure that you're driving your chest up. Your competition exercises needs to be focused on correct execution of the lift. So make sure that you're fighting this chest fall pattern. Still be honest with your RPEs. You're rating your RPEs on absolute failure, pushing the weight whenever possible. Put more weight on the bar within the constraints of your RPE and your execution. From what I see here, that's generally what I think is going on and how I think you should go about correcting it. There's a hint of lower back rounding or back rounding in general once you pass the mid-range. I can't see for sure if that's what's going on, and I don't know to what extent that's a significant issue for you since it's only happening past the mid-range. But that would be another thing to focus on to make sure that you're not getting any sort of spinal flexion as you go through this movement. But if you're doing those things and it's not seeming to work, especially, it shouldn't take more than 4 weeks for you to see some forward progress on your squat. And if it's taken longer than that, let me know, because at that point it's going to be time to shift you over to a new training group.